What's up, everyone? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel, and the 2022-23 College Football Playoff top 4 teams have been revealed. They just came out a while ago, a moment ago, I should say. The College Football Playoff top 4 teams have been revealed. This is based off of the College Football Playoff and also who is going to be playing in the semifinals and also maybe for the national championship. So yeah, they've been revealed. The New Year's 6 bowl games will come out maybe like by 2 something. All the bowl games will be pretty much coming out. And I'm going to be probably doing my top 10 bowl games, pretty much, my favorite top 10 bowl games later on this week. So I'll try to get out some videos. If you have any video suggestions, let me know. The College Football Playoff top 4 teams have been revealed. I know I've been saying that already too many times, but this is officially it. The final path to the national championship is underway. So, the top 4 teams, I knew they were going to be pretty accurate. After, conference championship weekend, you can look back and see how these teams lost. And, USC, let's talk about them first. They had a chance to get in to the College Football Playoff, ended up losing their game to Utah, got blown out. And I think, maybe USC would have remained maybe as the number 4 seed if they didn't get blown out. Maybe not, but I don't really know. So, you look at all the other conference championship games, though. TCU losing to Kansas State in overtime. That was a pretty good finish to that game. Clemson, Michigan, and Georgia won their games. So 3 out of the 5 games that I predicted, I got them right, but 2 of the games I got them wrong. So, yeah, it was a pretty crazy weekend of conference championship weekend. Let's get into the top 4 teams now, and I'll give you my reaction and also give you my thoughts on these matchups that are coming up on New Year's Eve. They come up December 31st. So here is the bracket for the College Football Playoff 2022-23. We got Georgia at number 1. Knew they'd be number 1 pretty easily because of the way they've been playing this year, and they took care of business against LSU in the SEC Championship. Won that game by 20. I know their defense gave up 30 points in that game, but that was just a good LSU team that can run the football pretty well. Yeah, Georgia took care of business, though. Their offense was pretty explosive. The offense has been pretty good all year long. Defensively, I think they've been better ever since the first weekend of November. You got Michigan here at number 2. So both Georgia and Michigan, I knew they'd be number 1 and number 2 because Michigan obviously took care of business as well against their opponent, Purdue, in the Big Ten Championship. So yeah, I knew both of these teams would get in as number 1 and number 2 because they're pretty easily to predict. Michigan looked pretty good without Blake Corum at running back. They got some other talented backs. J.J. McCarthy played pretty well in this game. So yeah, both Georgia and Michigan took care of business this weekend against their conference championship opponents. So, all right, let's go to number 3 now. Michigan will play TCU in the Verbal Fiesta Bowl. Like I said, these games are going to go on New Year's Eve. This will be the first matchup. It will be at 4 o'clock. I'll give you my top 10 bowl games, basically how that will work. I'm going to give you the top 10 bowl games coming into the postseason. So yeah, TCU versus Michigan here in the Verbal Fiesta Bowl. This should be a pretty good matchup. You got 2 great quarterbacks going at it with J.J. McCarthy and Max Duggan. Max Duggan, I know TCU lost to Kansas State. It was a tough loss there in overtime, but they didn't need to win in the end of the day. So, TCU gets in as a number 3 seed. And we thought this team, going into this season, they were going to be pretty much a team that was pretty high on. I would just call them a decent team, but no, they lived up to their expectations. They really surprised a lot of people, and they're officially in the College Football Playoff, and that is pretty surprising. A lot of people really surprised that TCU makes it in, but yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this TCU team. They made it in pretty much, after that loss to Kansas State. And you think about it, TCU went undefeated in the regular season, so their only loss comes to Kansas State in the Big 12 Championship. And that was pretty much my toughest prediction, since last week. I had a tough time predicting that game, but Kansas State, I know they're going to go to the Sugar Bowl now, so that's how it's going to really play out. They'll probably play Alabama or something. That could be a good matchup, but TCU versus Michigan will be the Verbal Fiesta Bowl. We got Ohio State here at number 4. This is a team that we kind of doubted, 2 weeks ago after that loss to Michigan. Thought they couldn't get in. But after that USC loss, for USC, Ohio State gets in because of USC loss. So that's how Ohio State had to get into the playoff. And, USC lost their game by a lot, and Ohio State gets in. They'll play Georgia here, same day as the first semifinal matchup. It will be at 8 o'clock, though. So it will be a late game between Ohio State and Georgia. This one will be at Atlanta in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. This should be a pretty good matchup. I'm looking forward to this one with two great defensive teams. Ohio State, I know their defense kind of got slugged out in a game against Michigan, but we have two Big Ten teams here in the college football playoff. Who saw that coming? I did see this coming, though, because Ohio State was the only other one-loss team that could get in. So those are your matchups. We got Georgia versus Ohio State. This one will be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Michigan versus TCU will be at 4 o'clock. So these games will go on New Year's Eve, December 31st. I'm not going to make a prediction here today. I'm going to wait and do my prediction on the last week of December when these games come out until maybe after Christmas or something like that. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's go to the teams now that had a shot to get in. And that was the only two of them. That was Alabama and Tennessee. Their two losses, obviously Tennessee lost to South Carolina and they lost to Georgia. They beat Alabama, though, in the head-to-head. Tennessee's gotten blown out by South Carolina, and I think that's why they were right behind Alabama. Alabama's had some close losses. LSU lost and then Tennessee lost by 3. So, yeah, Alabama's had some tough losses, but they were able to finish out ahead of Tennessee. So that means Alabama probably will end up in the Sugar Bowl. Tennessee might end up in the Orange Bowl. We could see a Tennessee versus Clemson matchup in the Orange Bowl, and we could see Alabama versus Kansas State. Like I said, the New Year's Six bowl games will come out later on. So, we'll give you my top 10 New Year's Six bowl games heading into the bowl season. So we'll pretty much, give you a countdown for that one. But these are the two teams that could have possibly made it in. Alabama, had the biggest chance than Tennessee did. So, both of these teams had a shot, but they couldn't really get in. All right, back to the bracket now. And like I said, these are the top 4 teams for the playoff. Georgia versus Ohio State, Michigan versus TCU. Yeah, we've come a long way in this college football season, and this is it. This is pretty much, the college football playoff. This is where pretty much, the semifinals matter and also the national championship game. It's going to be a pretty good one. I'm really excited for these 4 teams. Congratulations to Georgia, Michigan, TCU, Ohio State, making it in to the college football playoff. If you're a fan of some of these 4 teams, let me guys know what you think. And back then I did my predictions for the college football playoff bracket. I got 2 of these teams right. I had Utah in there, but they didn't make it in. Then I had Alabama. They had a chance, but they didn't make it in. So yeah, I got Georgia and Ohio State right. Michigan and TCU were just big surprises to me. Thought Michigan would take a step back after they were eliminated last year, but yeah, they're back in it. So 2 Big Ten teams in the college football playoff. Let me guys know what you think about these playoff teams and also the top 4 teams. Who do you think should have got in? Do you agree or disagree with the committee? And stay tuned here for more on the Lucas Ross Sports Channel.